the last Friday of the regular season. So we got to talk, man. We got MJ, we got Jerm, we got Ham, we got Trav, we got the full five. Shout out to everybody watching from their desk, or if you're watching the replay, remember 94 feet about them today, because I think, and again, this is open conversation. It's not even going to be like questions and debate topics. We just throwing stuff around. For me, until other than Steph Curry, these are the three. Take Steph Curry and LeBron out the conversation for a second. These are the three signature players of the post-Jordan era. For me, is these three, and they're all so different styles, different personalities, different things they brought. So, fellas, let's just kind of bat a couple of things around, man. When you think of Tim Duncan, what's first thing come to your mind?
I'll go first. Of course, we think a big fundamental, that type of thing. I think of Tim Duncan as one of those players that, as we always talk about, that just he always played the game the right way. You never felt like Tim forced a lot of shots. You never felt like Tim forced action. It felt like he always played within himself. So that was the thing that I always loved about Timmy myself, for me personally.
For this generation, the ultimate winner. 6'10", win percentage every season he was in the league. Multiple time MVP, 15-time all defensive, 15-time all NBA. Just winner. Just straight, everything in the positives in terms of winning. And did it in 3 different decades. Got wins, got title wins in 3 different decades. 99, got 3 over, going over into the new part of the millennium, and then 2014. So it's just a special cat who don't really require a whole lot of anything special.
I'll leave Trav for last because that there's a special place in Tim Hart for him. I look at him as a maniacal genius. I look at him as a surgeon. The ability to be able to just be so locked in and focused on one task that you can take emotion and feeling completely out of the equation and just lock in the way he was able to do so it's cyborg like. Like we talk about Jordan and how we didn't think he was human. I think Tim is in the same situation. He just do it different. He's like a whole Terminator out there, the way you just could not shake him. You could not rattle him. Nothing got to this dude. And he just, no matter what system you put him in, no matter how old he was, he just continuously made his impact on the game, no matter what the situation was.
To me, Tim Duncan is the best player to play his position ever. That's bottom line. He didn't have the athleticism when he got in his years. He lost it. But the game of basketball, the fundamental way to play the game of basketball was still there for close to 19 to 20 years. It's one of the few people that basically almost defeated Father Time in my eyes. I almost beat it. But the consistency and his winning, ultimate winner, but he didn't have to beat his chest to let y'all know he won. He done it in a mild-mannered way that got him first ballot Hall of Fame with no debate at all with this. The best Hall of Fame class to do it. 2021. Say no more.
And speaking of beat your chest, then you have the flip side of Tim Duncan, and that's Kevin Garnett. And Kevin Garnett, to me, fellas, is the bridge to this era of power forward that we have now. You know, Kevin was he wasn't the first, but he was like 6'11", wiry, but really could put the ball on the floor, defend all positions. And once he, in a very similar vein to Duncan, when he mastered that mid-range jumper, that elbow extended jumper, KG became lights out. But I think it's also, man, it's the intensity. Like we talk about, about MJ talk about the maniacal genius of a Tim Duncan. KG is just a maniac in general. Just everything. What they say, turned up, lit, all the words the kids use all the time. And he was, to me, he ushered in this era of power forward now, where you have guys at 6'10" putting the ball on the floor, can do a lot of different things. And it's crazy with KG's career, fellas. Obviously, he won a chip with the Celtics in 08. But that wasn't even the best version of Kevin.
Oh no.
Early 2000s Kevin was a nightmare. So, fellas, when y'all think of KG, just some of the things that come to mind about KG.
What Trav said about beating the chest, it took me back to that All the Smoke interview, which I recommend everybody go check that. That All the Smoke interview with Kevin Garnett will actually set the table for you for this weekend, because he goes in depth about Timmy, he goes in depth about Kobe as well. But with reference to KG and and Timmy, he was like, Tim don't talk to you in complete sentences. It's just like, nice try. Things of that nature. So just the contrast of those two personalities. But Ticket was the ultimate, man. He at one point in time during that stretch, like you were saying, Big Shot, in the early 2000s, around his MVP campaign, he was my favorite player because he brought the passion and the intensity, and he delivered on the floor too. Only thing you're gonna kill him for, he can't get out of the first round, which he had that narrative on him until he won MVP and they got out of, who did they beat, Dallas or Sacramento won, and they got to the conference finals. But and him to also be that first of the wave to, we got to look at our generation with this group of cats, man, and there was a lot of high school dudes who made that jump, who were the best dudes. Ticket is one of those dudes, along with Cole. So, and he was just first. He held up the standard, man. I mean, Trav said it earlier, this is the greatest one of them all, of our lifetime, at least anyway, probably ever. And it's just, I ain't got no more words for it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad to see these dudes getting their roses, as they should.
Speaking of roses, can we please end the whole they can't make it out the first round, or end the whole they're not a winner thing, unless we're going to be able to measure them on the team that they have and the people that the pieces were around them were able to go somewhere and actually win without them?
Can you mean what me and Gerb talked about? Yesterday?
Yeah, I'm because it's actually just doing nothing more than just taking away from the excellence that all of these guys have brought to the table to be able to get to the level that they had. Just forget analytics, forget the whole fandom for 1 second. To understand the type of hours, the type of commitment, the type of resiliency and persistence you have to put, not just mentally, but physically, the toll that it takes to be able to be great at this game. If you understood what it took, I think people would appreciate it more. But it's just one of them situations, either you know or you don't. And that's why we have so many people who are so overly critical of guys like this. Because all three of these, let's be real, all three of these guys was really, judged on bullshit. Tim Duncan was judged because he didn't show enough emotion. Not because he's winning titles, but because he didn't show any emotion. KG was being judged because he couldn't make it out the first round, where he had an over-the-hill Cassell. A Latrell that used all of his prime years in New York, and Wally Serviak as his bona fide second option. Kobe got judged in plenty of ways. We'll get to him later, so I'm just gonna stop there. But we got to stop doing that at some point, or y'all can keep doing it. I'm just gonna stop listening. But as far as KG goes, he's one of those players for me that if he wasn't getting paid, he'll still be playing the game the same way.
I will say this about KG for me. KG exuded a certain passion on the floor that I think was second to nobody. I mean, especially when it comes down to just sheer being able to say, I want to be here. I want to do everything I can to win. And not only do I want to do all those things, I want to pretty much talk you out of yourself. I want to talk you out of your game. He was probably one of my favorite trash talkers to a certain extent. There are some times that I say, hey, Kev, that's a little too much. But to what limit did he go? He went the whole way. He wanted to win. He's one of those guys that I have to say that you can't write the story of basketball without these two guys at the power forward position. Like the power forward position, I understand we got Karl Malone, but these two dudes was so much to the position, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because we talk about two dudes in a lot of different ways that didn't have some of the dynamic point guard play of John Stockton or type of John Stockton type of play, but they still got theirs and they did it effectively and efficiently on both ends of the floor. So, Trav, back to you, man.
If y'all looking at this on Facebook, he's on the left of it. If y'all looking at this on YouTube, again, he's probably the left of it. KG is the reason why I have my brother. And that is why we have this show today.
Yo, that was a battle. Y'all don't understand.
That is the genesis of the Trav Ham relationship. That is true.
Iron sharpened iron.
Iron, man.
That's what we call our discussion, what me and Ham had. That is what you call the battle of Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. It was iron sharpened iron. Two greats going at it, somewhat like Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell. Two Goliaths getting better, battling with each other. KG, the reason why KG is kind of that bridge to these new generation forwards is because the new generational forwards act how KG came into the league. Young, brash, beat his chest, get you buckets, dunk on you, block your shot to the 15th row. That is KG. And then with these next two that we're going to talk about, the reason why we hold KG to our heart is because we actually watched him grow.
Yep.
We watched him grow. And when we watched him grow, we seen KG be that young, brash, I want to talk to Michael Jordan bad to now I want to be the ultimate role player. I know my role. Let me do what I need to do. Let me sacrifice for the greater good to win a championship.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
That is KG. And again, this is why tomorrow we're going to witness the greatest Hall of Fame class that has ever walked the stage this year.
And you talk about that, Trav. It's interesting. KG comes in the league in 95. Kobe comes in the league in 96. Tim Duncan comes in the league in 97. They were just back-to-back years. And when we talk about Kobe, we've talked about Kobe on this show in the group. So I'm going to just talk about my favorite. I want y'all to jump in this too. Favorite Kobe games and favorite Kobe moments. And these are the ones that came to mind off the top of my head. The first one was December '97 when he was actually getting minutes for the Lakers, and they came to the United Center in the first Kobe versus Jordan battle. And I had never seen Kobe play like a full game until this game. I watched the game for about 15 minutes. I said, you know what? That dude is going to be a really problematic dude for a long time. That's the first game. Second game, and I hate to bring this up, Trav, because it was against y'all. 2001 versus the Spurs. Afro Kobe with all the hops, all the athleticism, all the quickness. Shout out Jaren Jackson. You tried. You tried. Derek Anderson, you tried. He was too much, man. Just too much for them. And then the game versus the Mavericks. If there was ever a shot that somebody had at 100 points, it was the 62 3/4 versus Dallas. If there was ever a night somebody could have got 100, it was that night. So for me, man, Kobe just it's for Kobe for me. That's why I want to say bring about y'all favorite Kobe games and moments because that's what it was. Like
you took all of them.
No, it's plenty more.
I got a few.
Go ahead, Ham.
I got some myself.
That Phoenix joint in 06 when he knotted the series up. We sent it to OT with the mid-range and won it, and they knotted the series up to 2-2. No, they put them up 3-1. They put them up 3-1 for a moment. I'm not gonna say that was the game. Another moment, the very first time that they came to Memphis. Memphis won. The only reason why Memphis won is because he got hurt. But if he didn't get hurt, Pittman was going for about 55, 60. He was in his luggage. I'm talking about it was getting real hairy in the pyramid that night. And I didn't watch. We had power pack tickets. I let my uncle get my ticket and my moms rolled through. My crew was coming to town. It was right before the holidays. We sat at the house and watched that joint. And we all was like, yo, dude finna go for 50. But he ended up getting injured and had to come out. You know, that was one of those. I'll throw another one back. I was passing around, man.
I'm doing mine within this episode that we're on. We watched them grow. So I'm going through growth with these guys. And with Bean, people may not like it. And especially real Kobe Bryant fans. But one of the games that I knew, like, he's going to be somebody, that was Utah. He threw the 3 air balls.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
3.
He actually had the guts to take them shots.
Thank you.
3 of them. Second, it's, to me, one of his best series that he had is when Shaq fouled out and he told Shaq, don't worry about it. I got you. Don't worry about it. Was it the Pacers, I want to say?
Yeah.
Final. Pacers in the finals, yeah.
And the last one is he dropped the mic, man, and retired. He put up 50. No, 60. 60.
60 on 50 shots. Against Utah. Against Utah. The same Utah the Utah that he shot the 3 air balls against in his rookie year.
See how it goes? It's the growth. What you died by, you came by and relived, and you dropped the mic. Those are my 3.
So I'm gonna, because when people die, usually everybody just has all the great things to say about them and all of this. I am gonna be very honest and tell you I did not like Kobe when he first came to the league. I did not like him until, the incident happened with Eagle, Colorado. I didn't like him. The reason why I didn't like him, it had nothing to do with him. It had all to do with the media. Kobe's career taught me how to tune out the media and just judge a man by who he is. Mm-hmm. The lesson I could have ever learned is being a sports analyst, because I had no reason not to like him other than the fact that the media was saying he was better than Jordan. That was the only reason why I didn't like him. That was the reason why I was rooting against him in Game 7 in Portland, when he pretty much took over that game, crossed Pippen through a oop to Shaq, and sent them good night. That was the passing of the torch right there. That's when I was like, it started. And it ain't going to stop no time soon. Lo and behold, the incident happened. This dude is literally traveling to the court, back to a game, and is still zeroed in and locked in and perform at a high level. Like,
what about the game?
I understand the emotional stuff that he would go through and still perform. Just that part alone. You are, this is like O.J. Simpson trial level.
Yo, the game, again, it was against the Spurs. They drove that man underneath the tunnel 15 minutes before tip-off. He went and got changed. I think he had like 42 against the Spurs in a playoff game.
Oh, check it. My favorite one from that particular season was the last night of the season there in Portland. I think he did the same thing in the playoffs again that he did in Phoenix. He did the Portland the same way. Sent him out in regulation, sent him to OT, and then caught it off the catch with like a 0.8 of a second or whatever from the top of the key from about 30. Yeah. For the division. Clinched the division and everything right there with that one joint. It was like, yo, that's a whole different. I got no words, man. Just enjoy the show.
Yeah, but I saw him lose everything. I saw all of his endorsements go to crap. I saw all of the people just say how they really feel about him. And the only thing he just put his head down and kept grinding. That's all he did. I saw him play with teams that if any other superstar would have been on those teams, they would have probably dogged it. Yeah. Showed up every night. They requested a trade. He should have requested a trade because that team was that tough. It was that bad. But this man did not cheat us on effort. He did not cheat us on focus. He did everything he could have possibly gave to the game. He gave it. And then when he retired, he gave even more off the court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he became the all-time leading scorer for the Lakers in FedEx Forum. I'm almost certain that was the case. I didn't go to the game, but I was watching it. I think he got it at the line too. That's just how much I remember that. That was like a decade ago.
I think that was Minnesota. That was Minnesota.
He did something here. He did something here too.
Yeah, it's probably the all-time Lakers, but he went like he trumped Mike.
He took the Lakers all-time leading scorer here, and he got Mike in Minnesota. I knew it was one of the other.
He's one to Germ. Your favorite Kobe moment, Kobe game?
Oh, this is so hard, man. This is hard for me. So, first thing is this. So, obviously, with me being a little bit younger than you guys, Kobe was actually my first. That was actually my eye opener to the league.
That was your Jordan.
So, what people don't understand for me is Kobe is one of the reasons why I fell in love with the game of basketball. So, the surreal competitiveness that he had was one thing that I ultimately loved about it. But the thing that I loved the most about Kobe was I always loved the skills. The skill set was incredible, from the fundamentals to everything and then some. Man, I probably got more moments than y'all do.
Just name a couple.
I can name like when he averaged like 55 for a week. Yeah. like what kind of human being is this? I remember that at the 81 point night. We was in class. I was coming from my locker. It was like, man, your boy crazy, man. I was like, what you talking about? They was like, yeah, you ain't see the game last night? I was like, nah, like 81 points. I was like, 81? So, we get to the library later on, lunch. I said, let me go to this library and look at this. See, this man scored 81 points. I had to immediately go find some type of way to weasel my way to see this game. I had to. So I finally seen the game. I was like, wow. And I'm going to actually give y'all the series against Phoenix to get to the NBA Finals in 2009. Or 2010. It was 2010.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah.
Man, I cannot tell you how, just that entire playoff stretch.
Mm-hmm.
He was so focused and locked in every single game. I don't think he had a bad game the entire playoff stretch. We talking about a dude who ripped through Phoenix. Like Gentry at the end of the series said, yeah, that's Kobe Bryant. He's the best player in the league, and it ain't even close. It's nothing I can do about this. He'd have hit every jumper I could possibly guard. Grant stayed in front of him. I give up.
You know what I remember about that series, Jerm? And y'all probably remember this too. And this is why you love. We talk about Trav, talk about growth, and MJ who does training for a living. That's a perfect series. Because that series, this is where the hops start to go a little bit. He's not quite as athletic as what he once was. Mm-hmm. Not quite as quick. But my footwork, as you talked about, my balance, the skill level, in that Phoenix series, I remember that because he hit so many tough buckets. Like, where you really, unless you tackle him, you can't play better defense than what we're playing right now.
Right. And to your credit, he ushered in the Steph Currys of the world. He really did, because the shots that he would take and make, as people growing up watching the game, they're looking at this and they're taking off the whole, what is a good shot, what is a bad shot. He really challenged that, because what we would consider a bad shot, he was hitting those things. But most importantly, this dude was a chess player on the court. He had 5-6 different moves in his head that he would know when to put them out, when not to. Like when Iman Shumpert did the interview and he was talking about he was guarding them all good, and they told him good game at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and he was just talking about all of the different moves. He's like, Iman was like, I guarded the first 3 moves. I didn't know he had 4 or 5 moves after that. Like that right there just shows like the type of like, just attention to detail that he has. Like nobody is thinking that you have a counter to your counter to your counter to your counter to that counter. Ain't nobody thinking that.
That's crazy. Like,
and that's it.
Y'all remember the triple team reverse pivot 3-pointer against Portland?
Yeah.
With 3 people. I was looking at his feet. I'm like, hold on, wait. What does he do?
He was what? Yeah.
I was like, no.
It ain't even his best 3-pointer.
It ain't, but I'm just saying that was crazy, Trey.
His 3-pointer against Portland was the one against Regis.
Oh, for the game? Hey, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all this too. That Kobe stopper thing, I used to love that energy. I said, well, here he go. About to drop 40 again tonight. Come on, Cole. Come on, Cole.
He's the best. He's the best tough basket scorer the league has ever seen. You talking about tough baskets where like you're playing perfect defense and it just doesn't matter. He's the best at it. He's the best tough basket scorer I've ever seen.
It's only one person that is somewhat not Trump, but it's right there. And it's the person who we basically idolize.
And the difference between them two, just from what I've seen, is that when Mike started out, Mike would kind of hit you on the short, mid-range, 10, 12, around the block. Man, Kobe's first jump might be from 22. And wow.
but here's the counter to it, though. Mike had a 48-inch vert. I'm tired of people not mentioning this.
Yeah.
48
Mike
inches.
Mike was a better athlete.
That matters.
Mike had athletic gifts. Not that Kobe was a slouch as an athlete. Mike had athletic gifts that Kobe didn't have.
And Kobe, I
Exactly.
think, had a talent that Mike didn't necessarily have to have, but
Kobe
he
had the
just
skill
was.
set that Mike didn't have.
Kobe had the
Yeah,
unbelievable
But
skill set.
the why? Look at the why behind it. He had no choice.
He had
Exactly.
no other choice. He had
yeah,
no other choice.
well,
And
that's
my and to end my part to end this whole Kobe deal, my honorable mention, Carmelo may have been the best. And LeBron was right there. And KD and all them folks were there. But that Spain against the United States, if it
8 or
weren't for
12.
Kobe, if it weren't for Kobe hitting that 4-point play,
That was 8. That was 08.
Yeah,
Okay.
against Spain, yeah, in the Olympics. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My last thing I'm gonna say about him, just in general, I still have, and I'm talking about Kobe off the court. I still listen to some of his motivational stuff that he was putting out,
Mm-hmm.
and to this day, my whole life has been based off of some of those quotes. This last 5 years of my life, and believe it or not, he died a couple of years ago, but I can actually say that the last 5 years of my life, that interview that he had when he was talking about the will and desire and to win and just winning in everything and just life. I think that interview resonates with me so much because it personifies him. But growing up a Kobe fan, you have to understand, like, you always felt like you had a chance to win because of Kobe, as a fan of the Lakers. So I took that into the perspective, and now anything that I do, I feel like I have an opportunity to win because I have the desire and I put in the work to do it. So that's what I took from him.
And to MJ's point, we're gonna kind of circle back to KG and Duncan. To MJ's point about the media, and it's so fitting that Jordan is gonna be his presenter, and the countless hours that were wasted
Mm-hmm.
in the media and by fans, pitting them against each other when it was never like that.
I mean, competitors gonna be competitors, but like you said, Big Shot, it was never like that.
It was never like that. And we know MJ don't really, not this MJ, Mike Jordan.
Right.
He don't really give any props to anybody.
No.
So the fact that he's going to present Kobe tells everything.
There's enough for me.
Now, swinging back to KG and Duncan, I know Trav and Ham, this was kind of the genesis of their friendship. The KG versus Duncan argument. So I'm going to ask Myron and Jern, KG or Duncan?
Before y'all answer, I'll just say this. Travis probably one of 5 people in 40 years that actually got me to change my stance on something. And it didn't come with malicious intent. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just reasonable logic.
He wore you down over the course of a 3-day Facebook argument.
He wore me down, but he actually got me to just rephrase it.
So
Tim is better. KG just made it look better. Boy, that's ready. Hey, I'm cool with that.
So MJ, Jern, KG or Duncan?
I gotta go Duncan.
Yeah, you have to go Duncan because of, again, Duncan was it. If you like, again, I told you I like skills. I'm not saying KG didn't have the skills, but look at Duncan's footwork in the post. Look at the way he was able to be in the right spot, always at the right time, to be able to contest the shot or be there for the rebound. I mean,
I got two examples of that. Even late in his career, 2013 Game 3 West Finals here in Memphis, dude took over. This year 16, Timmy, he straight took over in the OT. Following year, Game 6, Oklahoma City West Finals, Serge Ibaka in the OT.
Yeah, he did.
He straight dealt with it. I mean, Serge couldn't do nothing with it. And this is 16, 17. year Timmy. So we're talking about the skill set that was still there. It was always there. But when they went to when they needed it.
I'm gonna tell you the game that really, to me, put him at GOAT level. I mean, as far as just the greatest power forward I've ever seen. And I know it took a little longer than most, but it's just really me, just really breaking down person by person, because I give Barkley a lot of regard. Even though most people on the court, Barkley, pound for pound, it should be discussed more. Neither here nor there. The game that put it over for me was the game he actually lost in 2013 in Game 6. What people forget in that Game 6, Timmy went 10 for 13 and had like 27. He was out to destroy them. He was out for blood. And they couldn't do a thing with him. Not a thing. Bosh couldn't do no. It's not like he's killing like bums. Bosh couldn't do nothing with him. Birdman couldn't do nothing with him. Like, help side coming. Sometimes LeBron got caught on that switch, and LeBron thought, I'm, tweener power forward. I can handle this. No, he got this work too. Everybody got the work. And it's like, for him to do that at the age he was at.
Right.
And the system ain't even evolved around him anymore.
No.
To do that, it was just like, I've never seen a player personally. I've never seen a player that you could throw any system at and he's still going to consistently give you the same numbers. I've never seen Timmy.
But Tim Duncan, MJ said this, one of our many basketball discussions at the gig. He said, man, Ryan, you know something? I said, what? He said, man, Tim Duncan didn't have no rookie year.
Never.
I said, MJ, what are you talking about? He's like, and if you look at Tim Duncan's rookie numbers, 21, 11, and 2.5 blocks. First team All NBA.
Ain't been one of the rookie since.
And made the All-Star team as a coach's selection.
Right. That's not a rookie year, man.
I'm gonna tell y'all.
That's Julius Randle right now.
Basically.
Right. Which y'all right there. What we are, and shout out to Julius, shout out to him. What we are wilding about Julius Randle in year 5 or 6. This is fresh off campus.
Tim Duncan been
fresh
done.
Off the graduation. 21, 11, 2.5 from the gate.
Right.
Hey.
But check this out. If y'all in the group with 94 feet of light, Big Shot have posted this game plenty of times of Tim Duncan whooping the crap out of Phoenix.
Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy.
And that was like what, his second year?
That was the first game. That was rookie.
That was his first
That was
playoff.
rookie. Yeah, that was rookie Timmy.
Who was that he was whooping up on? I can't
Daddy,
think
Daddy.
of the big guy now.
Hot Rod,
Hot Rod.
McDonald's,
That was Hot Rod.
Cliff Robinson.
Was coming out party. Like, he came out in the regular season, made the All-Star game and all this stuff. But he whooped up on them folks so bad. They went to him every time. Now, this is when the league went post first and then kick it out.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan was the best.
Look, and this
Tim
is when
Duncan.
he still have Hall of Fame David Robinson. Hall of Fame David Robinson took a back seat. David was like,
Right.
you know what, stay at this free throw line and catch and shoot. He
Yeah,
still
Because
had
he knew. Yes.
He knew.
Yes.
He like, look, I'm still David Robinson, but young fella got it.
Here's
He
a
got
funny
it.
Here's a funny story about Duncan that most people may not know.
And call it a day.
Here's a funny story that most people may not know about Tim Duncan. This is All-Star year of Alonzo Mourning. This is when Alonzo Mourning kind of have arrived. And he met this guy, and he was like, hey, I got this guy in the Virgin Islands. I want you to kind of play with him. Let me know what you think. And Alonzo Mourning was like, okay, cool. So Alonzo Mourning kind of was telling the story, and he was like, yeah, the first 5 possessions, this little dude blocked my shot. All-Star Alonzo Mourning. All-Star Alonzo Mourning. So he was like, after he blocked his shot, he's like, oh, I got to take this dude seriously. It turned out to just be like a battle. But that whole time he was going like a battle. That guy that they thought he needed to play against, that was Tim Duncan, like at age 18.
Like 16, 17 years old.
Right. That was 16, 17. And it goes back to the thing that I always say. If y'all in the group, y'all know I say this often. You was who you was when you got there.
And he was.
He was that.
And I tell you one about, and then we'll talk about KG, and then we're going to wrap up. I remember seeing KG because I grew up in Chicago area, you know. So me and Kevin Garnett graduated high school the same year. That's the only thing we got in common. But that was the first time I had seen somebody up close with that much agility at that height.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to see somebody who, okay, he's tall.
Right.
But to see somebody who's that agile, coordinated, move like a guard, put the ball on the deck. And this is when we know high school, going from high school to the pros, that's unheard of. I'll be real though. I saw that dude play in the Chicago Public League tournament. I was like, you know what? He
work out.
He probably can. Because it was way different. And MJ, you know, to see somebody, because guys at 6'11" don't put in the 90s, don't just get the ball off the glass. Don't.
And throw a lob. He was throwing lobs. It wasn't just him just coming off the glass and just being physically dominant and just scoring on you because of his physical dominance. He's making the right read. He's throwing no-look oops to Ronnie Fields.
I was a great passer in high school. Could really, like the shit Ben Simmons do now. He's doing that in high school.
And this is the funniest thing about it. Like with KG, KG is one of those players that I throw into the anomaly box because KG could have played in any era, but the era he probably would have been fitted in the most is this era now where they allow big men to just play.
Right.
Because he was under Kevin McHale. Shouts out to Kevin McHale. You can see a lot of his game in Kevin McHale. And he came in as a high schooler. Kevin McHale pretty much like, look, young fella, I'm going to teach you how to play. And he made him exclusively a big. If they would have just let him be on his KD stuff,
man,
this conversation would be really different.
If you put prime KG in this era with how you talk about MJ, the way the game is played now,
Lord have mercy.
Like it's footage at the US when they was on the USA team. It's footage of KG playing one-on-one full court against guards and handling. Like Jay Kidd ain't no slouch. Jay Kidd can't rip him.
Right.
Going where he wanted.
Hey, shout out to both of those dudes too, man, because we ain't playing center. Y'all can list us as foes. We're not dealing with the diesel. It's just that simple.
No.
Longevity purposes were needed, and it got rectified. They played a long time.
That's right. But it was fun to watch though, man. Just that era, the power forward era, like between 97 to about 2005, the power forwards, that was a fucking gauntlet.
Man, and that's what makes those two guys so real. MJ, we talk about the era of C-Webb, Dirk, Rasheed,
McDyess.
We talk about Indiana, Jermaine O'Neal.
Right.
We talk about Stoudemire.
Right.
We talking Chris. We talking Chris. We talking Sharif.
Right. It was just the whole host of cats.
I'm gonna tell y'all, like, this Hall of Fame class again, to me, is the best. But I'm going to tell you, one person could have shut this whole Hall of Fame class down if he had retired on time, and that's Dirk Nowitzki.
Ooh.
Dirk Nowitzki is supposed to be retired the same time as Tim Duncan.
That would have been
Bryant.
shout out Dirk.
Ooh.
This Hall of Fame class would, I mean, it's still 95% that this is the best. A little 5% here or there.
Well,
Dirk
I
Lewis.
even, I even add, I even add with the best label that you gave him. We can't leave out Tamika Catchings either. And the
Yeah,
Hall of
Tamika
Fame
shout
that
out
she
to
Catchings.
put
Mickey
there.
Catching.
They even got the
Um,
best announcer in this Hall of Fame. Mike Breen. They got the best announcer.
Yeah, they got Mike Breen.
How you look?
Dude, it's the
Dang.
Right now, I can play pickup and
Hall
play
of Fame
announce it, and it will say.
class is the best. It's the best ever. It's the
They
best
do
ever.
have Mike Breen. They sure do. Shout out Mike. Shout out to
Dang.
Mika. Yeah, man,
The
this is
best ever.
best. I'm with you, Trey. This is the best ever. So look, Friday fun, man. We had to talk about KG, Tim, Kobe, man. Well deserved. This is the final weekend of the regular season. So Monday night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, the full boat playoff preview. We previewing the playing games. We gonna talk about the real playoffs because I don't know how their schedule is gonna look. I think there's a chance we might have playoff action Friday afternoon next week, possibly,
We'll see.
but definitely next weekend. Next weekend, the real playoffs start. The play starts Tuesday. We will all be back here. We got guests and we got you. We want you to join us. Hop on the line for a couple minutes, talk about your squad, your playoff analysis, man. Monday gonna be a fun show. 94 Feet of Life is the Facebook group. Scene is the family. MJ, Trav, Ham, Germ, Big Shot, basketball for the people, by the people. Signing out. Enjoy your Hall of Fame weekend.